Hi and welcome to MicroStrategy 2020. My name is Michael Hoffmann. I'm working as a principal sales engineer for MicroStrategy Germany. And in this video, I want to show you a nice approach how to provide additional capabilities for your consumers using dossiers in libraries so that they are able to use a kind of report generation process. So as a consumer, they are able to configure their own grids and graphs, and they are able to save their configurations as templates they can reuse in their daily work. This is typically not possible with MicroStrategy because as a consumer, you are limited in regards to these capabilities because a power user is providing the capabilities a consumer can use in a dossier. So typically, a consumer is not able to design his own reports or visualizations. But with this approach, you can provide your consumers these capabilities. And this approach is based on a combination of different capabilities in MicroStrategy. On the one hand, we're using library. On the other hand, we're using the new selector controls for attributes and metrics. And we combine this all together with the bookmarking capabilities of MicroStrategy. Okay, so now take a look how it works. Okay, this is an example. You can see here I'm in library. So here is my library. And here is my dossier in my library. And this dossier is an example how this approach works. So in this dossier, we have one page. We have a grid here at the top and a graph at the bottom. And now you can see we have these selector controls here. Okay, so we have attribute selector and metric selector for this grid, and we have two metric selectors and one attribute selector for this graph. Okay, so in MicroStrategy, you have the capability to use these selectors in order to change the configuration of the grids and graphs. Okay, so for example, if you say, I click here on region, you see, okay, now country was exchanged by region, category, subcategory, and so on. Yeah, and a nice additional feature is the fact that you can use multi-selections. Okay, so for example, if you say, I would like to see country and region and year, yeah, you can see it's updated here immediately, and now the grid has the attributes and metrics you selected. Okay. Moreover, you can do the same for metrics. Okay, so for example, we have here regions and years, and now we say we have profit and profit margin, units sold, and so on and so on. Okay, you can switch these metrics here in the selector, and then the metric is here changed in regards to the metric you select here. In this scenario, you can use multi-selections as well. So for example, if you hit the control button on your keyboard, you can say, I would like to see profit margin and units sold and cost at the same time. Okay. The same capability you can use for graphs. Okay, so for example, here we have a graph with dual axis. So we have two metrics, one metrics on each axis. And you can see here the bar can be configured here by this selector. So for example, I click here on cost, and I see the cost and the revenue. By the way, you can configure explicit color codes for your metrics as well as for your attribute elements. This is very nice if you have really complex dashboards and you want to make sure that a metric and an attribute element has always the same color. This is a nice feature you can use. And I configured this here from my metrics. So you can see this metric selector. It updates the bar here in this chart. And on the other hand, I have an additional selector that works against the same visualization. Okay, you can do even that. So you can use more than one metric selector against the same graph. But in this situation, I configured this selector in that way that this selector only changes the line chart here in this combo chart. So for example, if I click here on revenue to total, customer, and so on, I can exchange this metric. And you can configure additionally if you can use multi-selections or only single selections. Okay, so in regards to the horizontal axis, same approach here with the attribute selector. You can click here on attributes and you exchange the graph. Okay, nice feature. Okay, but it's even more fantastic if you combine this feature with bookmark capabilities. And with that, you can provide for consumers their own report creation process with the additional capability to save their configurations as bookmarks. Okay, so let's make an example. I go back, I reset my dashboard, okay, and I start. Let's say I would like to see the regions, I want to see the subcategories, multi-selection, I want to see these two metrics in addition to this, and then I would like to exchange the graph here. I would like to see the product subcategories here, and I want to see cost, and I want to see the number of customers. Okay, and I would say now this is one report that I designed on my own, yeah, as a consumer. I'm not a power user. Okay, so I'm not in web. I'm in library, and here I can say, click on bookmarks, add new bookmark, and I call it report 1. All right, good. This is my first report. By the way, if you change a selector here, for example, you go back to your bookmarks, you can see now here is a disk icon. So if you click here on this icon, then the bookmark is updated. All right, nice additional feature. Okay, let's reset the dashboard. Let's make another example. I want to select only the items, and I want to see profit and cost. And here I leave the month as is, and I want to see here cost and revenue percent total. All right, and this is my second bookmark. Okay, I call this report 2. All right, good. Let's reset. Okay, and now the user is able to reactivate these bookmarks, and these bookmarks can be interpreted now as an individually designed report. Okay, so if I click here on report 1, yeah, you see all the configuration is done again. Okay, and if I click here on report 2, same way. Okay, so it's this very nice, very agile approach to provide additional capabilities for your consumers, yeah, to configure their grids and graphs in an easy way, and I think this will bring additional benefit here from the consumers. One last note here from my side. If you look here at the structure, yeah, of the attributes and metrics here in this grid, this follows the structure and the order of the attributes, yeah, and metrics of your selector. Okay, so the power user is able to configure this order in the right way. So, for example, based on hierarchy relationships or so, yeah, and then it makes more sense for an end user to use this. So the consumer does not have all of the capabilities a power user has in web front end, but a lot more compared to previous versions of MicroStrategy. So I think the combination of these new selector types in combination with bookmark capabilities provides really a good additional benefit here for our consumers. Thanks a lot for your interest, and thanks for watching.